Hello, everyone, and as you guys can see, I'm basically doing a nice recap of season 1 of Sailor Moon Uncut. So, season 1 of Sailor Moon, I had to actually look back and see what Deke did because Deke released it, and well, I knew I was 8 years old when I saw it at the time, and I think they did all the episodes, at least episodes that I remember. But let me just do a little rundown right quick just to see what exactly they didn't actually show. So Deke basically, for anyone who doesn't know, Deke fused with Cookie Jar so many years ago, a few years ago, and that's where Deke is. So Deke is actually a part of Cookie Jar now. Even though it's kind of weird because then Cookie Jar is lame. How the frick are you lame if you actually fused yourself with something that was a powerhouse in 1990s? I don't get it. Well, anyways, it looks like It looks like episode 2 was skipped. Okay, episode 2 was skipped, episode 4 was skipped, episode 5 was skipped. Protect the Melody of Love. Usagi plays Cupid. And then after that, episode 20 was skipped. That's why I didn't know episode 20. Man, episode 20 is a very good episode. I would have loved if they actually put episode 20 inside the Deke scheduling. Because episode 20 was a haunted house that actually had girls. The girls in there, the 3 Sailor Scouts went to a vacation home, and it turns out that it was a haunted place. Well, quote unquote haunted. The cast were all costumed in monster uniforms, and everyone was scaring each other. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it turns out that there was a psychic girl in there, and it was like, what? Yeah, so, Alright, let's see what's next. There. Okay, let's see. Sailor Venus. Sailor Venus. Yeah, Sailor Venus past Minako's tragic love. I can see why they skipped this one. This one is quite tragic. And it technically had some adult. Yeah, a lot of adult content in there. Meaning the fact of they had a relationship, the fact that she actually fell in love with a guy, and then the person that she was working with, I think alongside kind of living with, I'm not sure, but yeah, she fell in love with the same guy, and then those two got engaged, and she was like, well, they think I'm dead, so I just going to allow them to think I'm dead so they can live together, and I won't be a third wheel or hindering their relationship. That's how she felt. Alright, and the last two that was skipped was the last 2 episodes I just watched. Death of the Sailor Guardians, the tragic final battle, along with Usagi's eternal wish, a brand new life. So, it comes to the question of exactly what happened that concluded Deke's Sailor Moon, which I'm going to check this out right now, because I can't really remember. I mean, it's so many years ago. I think this might have been a recap. So, give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Well, webbing and using movie magic, I've returned, and oh my gosh, man. Watching Sailor Moon all over again, the actual Sailor Moon that I know, it was just so refreshing, so rewarding. Oh my gosh. To hear Sailor Mercury actually saying bubble blast in intensity, it was like, oh man, it was just so beautiful. I mean, seriously, I most likely would have just went to tears if I wasn't strong enough. But there was like so much stuff in there. You had the theme song, they didn't say makeup, meatball head, all of the freaking English adaptations. It was in there. Because, well, yeah, and it turns out that the Day of Destiny is just none other but a smash up of the last two episodes that we've seen. That's what it all was. But the thing is that they omitted the deaths, of course. So all of the crystal deaths you've seen, all of them up there hanging in the crystal, being frozen and all. Because it was for kids, they basically got rid of it. And one thing I do have to admit, even though it's like, yeah, man, that's kind of going against what I was when I was little, but I think it would have not been that bad if they actually would have went with Serenity and Endymion. The fact that they actually had different names. I'd have been okay with Serena being Serenity and Darian being Endymion because, well, they were from the moon. If they're from the moon, then basically it makes sense that they actually have different names than what we actually come to know. But anyways, it's kind of funny that they used her attack to save her life, and they made it seem like it was actually something to do good to Tuxedo Mask, even though it's just to protect herself. And apparently, yeah, they made sure they added this in, is that the mom, when the parents and her brother was actually by the window, instead of saying anything, which I don't really remember what they said anything, the mom said, "I hope Serena is okay," which was like, oh man, that's funny. The original one, they just was just by the window. They didn't even give a darn about where their daughter was. Yeah, it's kind of funny. They don't really give a darn where their daughter was whatsoever. And let's see what else. So apparently Luna was rooting for Sailor Moon in this one instead of what was the original thing. It's just, I need to go get her. I need to go get Sailor Moon. I need to get her. I don't want her to die too or die as well. So she basically says, "Please, Sailor Moon, don't die." That's what she basically said. And the other funny thing is the fact that they actually had the flashbacks. The flashbacks they used for this episode for Serena is basically the same one that they used, but they ad-libbed. They actually said, "Let us help you, let us help you, let us help you." It's like, wow. I mean, it wasn't corny. It wasn't really corny. I mean, it was just wow to actually see that they actually took courage and guts to actually ad-lib instead of just having the flashbacks in there. And it's interesting that they actually called it Cosmic Moon Power, the last final standpoint. The attack she used, that was very, very powerful. Instead of just making it, I don't think they even called it anything. Yeah, in the Japanese version, the original version, they didn't call it anything, but in this one, they called it Cosmic Moon Power. And lastly, of course, it's kind of funny. They used a cut from Endymion, the fight. That's what happened when he touched the locket. They used that against, they used it, and they basically made that into a nice cutaway ending part. The fact that Serena is Darian's hospital volunteer, and it was funny. It's like, "You have meatballs on your head." It was just so funny. I mean, seriously, it's just so funny. So for anyone who's actually looking for the episode, I will have the link down below so you can actually check out Day of Destiny. And for anyone who's actually looking for Sailor Moon, straight up actual Sailor Moon, not Viz Media Sailor Moon, you can actually use this website too to actually find your episode you're looking for. That's the good news. But sadly, because I have converted, this is kind of like what I'm thinking now, just like with Power Rangers and Super Sentai. It's the fact that when you're little, you should definitely watch Sailor Moon, Deke version of Sailor Moon, and then when you grow up, you can either watch the original content or you can watch Viz Media's Sailor Moon. And that basically helps everything out. I mean, no parents getting shocked at what their kids watching, no shocking content where it's like, oh my gosh, they killed them, or so. With that said, let me just talk about Sailor Moon 1 through 47 uncut. Well, it's weird. It's the fact that they actually cut out the one I really truly enjoyed, which was episode 20 in original, if I'm correct. I'm shocked because I would have loved that one. That would have been a funny episode to watch when I was little. But I can't really tell why they did it. Maybe because it was the bathing suits and they're like, oh my gosh, we can't show girls in bathing suits. I'm like, really? You can't show a girl in a bathing suit? Really? I think you actually, yeah, that was like one of the ones they omitted. But there was another one later on that had lots of girls in swimsuits, so that must not have been it. Is it because of psychic stuff? I don't really know exactly what or why they omitted that one. Maybe it was just like what Nick did. Nick basically gave Power Rangers 20 episodes, so I guess for these guys, they actually had 40 episodes to do, and they had to pick and choose which ones they could actually do. Which is kind of crazy. I have to admit, that is a bit crazy, the fact that you have to choose which one will be lost episodes. Even though given, it does make sense that there's some content that you don't really want for kids to find or even watch on TV. I understand that. I can truly understand that, but yeah. So for now, I would just say that I don't know. I don't know. I might do some digging to find out why certain episodes were deleted or basically aka banned episodes. I can tell you that episode 46 and 47 weren't banned episodes. Well, they are kind of banned episodes, but they were able to cut the stuff that they didn't want kids to see and make it one episode. So, with that said, basically, yeah. Well, anyways, altogether 47 episodes. I have to admit, they were very, very good. I mean, it actually told a story. It filled in some gaps, I suppose. But since I haven't seen Sailor Moon for a long time, it's basically more like refreshing to actually get the whole entire story told to you without even remembering what they really did with the actual series. Except, there's like lots of things that they improved on, which Viz Media basically said, yeah, that idea. And of course, yes, let's not forget the person that talked about it previously who was like, well, this is the reason why. This is why all this stuff that you wanted in there wasn't in there. Which I would like to say, well, thank you for telling me, but if Viz Media is this big head honcho, or should be a head honcho, then that means that chances are they could have actually spent the time, said, well, it's going to be a good investment, and straight up gone to WB and said, hey, we would like to have the soundtrack for Sailor Moon. I think that is quite simple. I mean, it's very, very simple. It's kind of like with Haim Saban's, with the fact of he has lots of money. He could give Bandai maybe some $1,000,000. Bandai would basically say okay and actually not be stingy on the paint apps. And most likely, you'll get more people to buy this stuff because it's like, dude, this is losing some freaking paint. I would really like to have some paint on this. Or, yeah, because there's so many people most likely looks at their stuff and say, dude, it's missing some paint. Why in the heck will I even buy this if it's losing paint? I might as well go and buy the original one instead of being like, well, this is American, so I will buy it even though the paint, or the worst part, it has to be the freaking gun they gave us. The freaking gun doesn't look whatsoever like the gun on the freaking TV show. It's lost a lot of paint, and what's worse is that they don't even put the true gun motion on it. I mean, they downgraded it so much that it's like as if they could have just made it from Japan. I mean, sorry, from China. They could have just labeled it from China and actually sell it for like maybe $3. That's how messed up it is. It most likely dolled up a freaking gun for $3 or $1 from China. Tried to make it as good as it does look on the TV show. Lost for some paint apps. And then basically just sold it to kids for, I don't even know how much they sold it for. Maybe $8. Maybe 10. Maybe 11. I'm not sure. I didn't really pay attention to that. I just basically said it has no paint apps. Forget that idea. But anyways, back to what I was really talking about is Sailor Moon. So the 47 episodes, it was very, very good to actually watch those. I mean, I would love to actually hear voice actors do it, but hey, I mean, it's anime, what you expect. But I would like to say that Viz Media shouldn't have treated it like an anime, because to us, all of us who was born in the 90s and was watching it, it wasn't an anime to us. It was more like an actual cartoon show, because they made it into a cartoon show, not an anime. Of course, well, if you knew better, you most likely know it's an anime. But hey, for some of us who didn't know what anime was until, let's see, when I found out. I found out what anime was like at least 2004, I think. So for anyone who actually was in the closet and didn't even know about what anime was, it really wasn't an anime. They made it their own. They came up with their own themes, made up with their theme song, created new names. They did a lot of things to make it theirs. And sadly for Viz Media, instead of doing the same way, or at least giving a nod to Deke, saying, hey Deke, we saw what you did back there. We enjoyed what you guys did. But this time we're going to have to make sure we finish it. We start it and finish it without having any skips. That's what we really wanted. At least that's what I wanted. As for everyone else who's anime fans, you most likely are like, yes, we got what we wanted. But it's kind of like, it's really a bittersweet. It's kind of tearing you apart. The fact that you can't really watch it like where you should actually watch it. The fact that they should have the original actors in there instead of, yeah. Well, anyways, that's about all. Also, I would like to say that for anyone who actually watched my previous video that said the dubs are ready and the dubs are on Hulu, this week they actually pulled the Hulu. They pulled all of the dubbed episodes off of Hulu. So I think they're getting ready for their launch of the DVD/Blu-ray. So for anyone who's actually looking for episodes, well, guess what? For you who are like, yay, Viz Media, you did it. You freaking got a new cast, and I don't give a darn about the whole cast. They can shove it and everything. Well, look what they did. Viz Media just said, screw you guys. If you want to watch all the rest of it, you're going to have to buy the Blu-ray. So I don't think y'all guys would actually appreciate that. I mean, if you guys appreciate that, that's kind of messed up. I know one thing is that if Deke had control of it, they wouldn't have pulled it. They would basically have continued on to show it until actual launch date of it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it on TV yet that said Sailor Moon on Blu-ray. Watch all uncut scenes and all uncut episodes from 47 episodes, or I think they said 30 episodes. So that means what's even worse is that if you guys don't buy it, the 17 other episodes that should be included in there actually will be lost. It's kind of like what happened with VR Troopers and with Big Bad Beetleborgs. The fact that they weren't able to sell as much as they really wanted to, so they were acting like a bunch of babies and said, nah, we're not releasing the last DVD. Which, only thing I have to say is, you have to do a box set eventually. And without actually releasing it or even doing the production for the DVD, that just means one thing. You just now have extra work to do because you just said you're not going to do the last DVD of it. So it's kind of like, I think you should just release it, and then when you do the box set, you'll have it ready. But anyways, whatever. So thank you for listening, guys. And Sailor Moon, #1 forever when it was in Deke Nation. As for Viz Media, well, notice the fact that they just said, screw you guys, we're pulling it off Hulu. If you want to watch it, you're going to have to buy the DVD or Blu-ray, which I do have to admit is kind of crappy. Really, really crappy. One thing I do kind of have a prediction on is chances are Sailor Moon will be put on Toonami very soon, aka Adult Swim. I think they most likely will do it. I think they might. So, if they do it, that'll be awesome. And if they don't, well, I just took a guess. I took an educated guess, and chances are. And besides, Cartoon Network did have the rest of the seasons when it came to Sailor Moon, so why not have it again and allow it to air and stuff. Well, anyways, I'm just gonna web out, so thank you guys for listening, and for anyone who actually is curious about Days of Destiny, click down below. So yeah, peace.